$200 monthly increase to Social Security starting in July? That's a great question and exactly what we're going to focus on right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss the infamous $200 per month increase for millions upon millions of Social Security beneficiaries that we've heard about so many times, and is it really going to be starting in July? I've been receiving a lot of questions from those of you here in the community asking, where do we currently stand on this? Has it been passed? And I've heard it's going to be starting in July. Is this true? When are we going to be seeing this? Let's get into it and talk through all the details and where we currently stand. However, really fast before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day as your one and only daily advocate. I truly want to help you out in any way that I can, as well as keeping you informed of what's actually happening and how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything popping up you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about where do we currently stand with this $200 per month increase. Now here's the thing, remember, way back in early 2020 is when we originally heard about this from 3 Democratic senators. They came out in about March of 2020, so over 3 years ago, though nearly 3.5 years ago, they came out and they talked about this. That was going to be a short-term increase to benefits by $200. Obviously, nothing ever happened about that. Well, then we didn't hear a whole lot about this until about a little over a year ago. It was about, I'm going to say like 13, maybe 14 months or so ago, give or take a little bit. It was about a little over a year ago is when Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and some other Democratic senators came out and introduced the Social Security Expansion Act. Basically, they brought back the $200 increase with a whole bunch of other goodies, or a bunch of other things in the bag, right? Well, that is a result of the Social Security Expansion Act. Now, as of recently, we've been hearing a lot about this. So it was introduced last year, like I said, about a year or so ago, give or take maybe a month or two, whenever it happened to be. I don't remember exactly when it was released last year, but it was around a month or so ago. However, about a year ago. I think I just said a month. I meant to say a year ago. It was about a year ago is when it was introduced. Anyway, long story short, for a while there, we heard a lot of good stuff about it. Then it kind of went dormant. We didn't hear a whole lot about it for a few months there. And then all of a sudden, once we turned the new year, 2023, so obviously a few months ago, we started hearing more about it. In fact, Bernie Sanders had a private meeting with the president to talk about the Social Security Expansion Act and basically getting the support of the president. Well, we've been hearing this on and off, right? So we've been hearing about it, and all of a sudden it disappears for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden we hear more talk about it. Okay. Well, where do we currently stand, and where does this bring us up to current time, present time, as of right now, today? And is this really going to be starting in July? Here's what it comes down to. Obviously, in order for the $200 per month increase to take place, we need to get legislation through Congress, okay? So again, like I said earlier, I'm here to bring you the information as it currently stands, and as so many of you here in the community have been asking me, where do we currently stand on this? I've been hearing it's going to be starting in July. Is that true? Well, let's talk through the details, which is, has the Social Security Expansion Act passed through Congress yet? No, it has not, okay? Again, I'm here to bring you the details. And again, please don't be upset with me. I'm bringing you the information as we know it, okay? And this is what we know. It's out there. It's getting traction. There are people that are in support of this, as in lawmakers. It does continue to come up, and we do continue to see a lot of talk about the Social Security Expansion Act. However, talking about and passing through Congress are two very, very different things, okay? Here's the thing. We can talk about it all we want. Many other people out there can talk about it as much as they want. The president and Bernie Sanders can talk about it and meet about it all they want. But until it's passed through Congress, it's not going anywhere, unfortunately, okay? So as of right now, this is not going to be starting in July, okay? I wish I could tell you that these checks were going to be, or this extra increase, this $200 would be starting in July. Unfortunately, it's just not starting in July, okay? There's no way. Even if Congress passed it today, right here, right now, if they came together and passed the Social Security Expansion Act, even if they did that today, there's no way that they'd have these checks rolled out within the next couple weeks here. It's just not, okay? Now, here's another thing that we want to continue watching. Just because it's not going to be starting in July, does that mean we've got to take this whole bill and throw it right in the fire and say, that's it, it's over, let's never look at it again? I would say no. Let's continue watching this one, because here's the thing. We've seen this before out of Congress. We have a bill, we have a proposal, we have a package, something like this. They introduce it, and all of a sudden, not a whole lot happens with it. Well, then maybe 2, 3, 6 months, 9 months, a year later, all of a sudden they bring it back, and then sure enough, they're working on it, and then they say, hey, we have a vote scheduled for next week, right? We've seen that happen before. So just because it's not happening now, and again, where did this even come from that it's going to be starting in July? Please tell me, where did you see this, and where is this information coming from that it's going to be starting in July? That is not true. It is not starting in July as of right now. I wish I had better information for you, and I wish I could say that yes, for sure, it would be starting in July, but that's not happening, okay? So not sure where this is coming from, or who the people are that are talking about this, suggesting that it's coming right away in July. It's not, okay? Again, I watch this stuff every single day, and there's no way I would have missed this one, okay? There's some information out there every so often, I may miss it. This is a big one. There's no possible way we would have missed this one. There's no possible way. This is like a boulder slipping through the cracks of like the gutter on the street. Not happening, okay? A boulder isn't slipping through there without somebody noticing, okay? Maybe a little pebble will slip on through. Actually, it probably happens all the time, okay? But this one is not slipping by without any of us noticing. So anyway, that was just kind of a little analogy, a little metaphorical example that I wanted to give you there, suggesting that there's just no way that this is going to slip through without any of us noticing. And all of a sudden we just notice, oh, wow, it's happening now. No, that's not how it's working, okay? However, some interesting things are happening. Now, obviously, in just a few months from now, it's weird to say this already, considering here we are in the middle of 2023, but in a few months from now, we will be getting the announcement out of Social Security in regards to the COLA, that increase that'll be announced. But again, that one doesn't go into effect until early next year, 2024. So again, that's still a long time out, even though the announcement is only, a handful of months away. Well, I guess it's a little more than a handful, but again, it's going to be coming sooner than later, right? And that comes in October. But when it comes down to this, the $200 per month increase, no, unfortunately, it's not happening as of now. It will not be starting in July. But again, doesn't mean that we should disregard this and say that it's over, that, it's game over, it's ending, this is all, it's not going to be happening anymore. I would not say that. Now, here's another thing that I want to point out really quickly. The Social Security Expansion Act, remember, this is the piece of legislation that has all of these provisions in there: raising taxes, changing the way that the COLA is calculated, increasing benefits by $200 a month, all kinds of different provisions within there, right? Increasing solvency for the next 75 years, or 74 years, I guess, as of right now. But anyway, basically until the end of the century is what it comes down to. But as a result of this, we've seen other pieces of legislation out there. Remember, over the last several months now, probably the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months or something like this, we've seen a ton of different proposals coming out, talking about Social Security, reforming the program, all kinds of things like this. So just because this one bill like this has not passed in its current form, I wouldn't write it off yet. And because, the reason I want to say that is because we've seen a lot of different proposals coming out where these lawmakers are basically cherry-picking a lot of the pieces of information out of these different bills and coming forward with standalone bills as well. So who says that a $200 increase wouldn't potentially come forward at some point in the future? I'm not saying that it's going to. I don't know what Congress is going to do quite yet. But who says it doesn't come forward with its own standalone bill? It could easily do that, right? And remember this much as well. This cannot be done through executive order. So the president can't just come forward and write some, legislation or whatever, this piece of information as an executive order, sign it, and then it'd be a done deal. You can't do that. Not when it comes down to this anyway. Now, again, he could do other things that would send out money to the people, but it would not be a permanent or even a short-term increase to Social Security. That can't be done through executive order. So anyway, long story short, I hope this gives you better clarity on what's going on here. However, are benefits going to be going out in the month of July, and is everything going to be all fine and dandy? Yep, just like always. Nothing's going to change there, okay? So if we're waiting for your check, anything like that, same old thing, same thing we always have every single month, every single year, time and time again. It'll be the same thing for July. Nothing changing there, okay? So anyway, however, July, remember, is the first of 3 very important months when it comes down to them determining how much the COLA is going to be next year. Remember that. So July, once we wrap up July and we get the inflation data for July next month in August, it's It's going to be important stuff. Anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, please leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Let me know where you've been seeing this and who has been saying it's starting in July, because it's not. They clearly don't have right information, because it's not starting in July, not as of right now anyway. Maybe July next year. Who knows? Maybe. But again, no promises. I don't have a clue what Congress is going to do about this. They don't even know, right? They don't even have a clue what they're going to do. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on this. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one. Stay cool out there, and I'll catch you again later.